we were already done with a few of the MMFF. We did an introduction on the MMFF. Um, I think now is the time to ask this question. What are your thoughts on the whole Metro Manila Film Festival? Should it be preserved and continued, or removed or rebranded? Let's
Um,
start with Gail.
I don't have an opinion on this.
Good baseline, good baseline. Okay, okay. You know
Why?
what?
Why? Explain.
Yeah, I'm sort of like with the general majority. I'm with the popular films, not based on the artistry or the
So you
technicality of things.
That's based. Why isn't it we're right? If I'm not, tell me in the comment section.
Are you really that old?
You're really good at fishing for engagement.
Oh, yeah.
Fishing for engagement.
I'm glad he's here.
Yeah, the experience.
Alright,
But
yes,
anyway,
Carl.
the MMFF, I just think it's just gone. It's dead. You want good movies? They say that they show it, but they don't really win because it's like the criteria doesn't matter. To be honest, it's all about having the lowest common denominator, which is the viewers. I think that's the issue. You're supposed to tell when you're in a film festival. You're supposed to tell like one of those critics that has an experience in doing film. It's their film. They know what's good. They know what should be shown. You show that to a film festival. Look at this, guys. This is good. No, MMFF does like look at these guys. A lot of you already love it. Let's just show it. So let's just cut it off.
So you're in favor of removing it?
In its current state, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So abstain, remove. How about you, Martin?
I agree and disagree with your point at the same time.
Okay.
So I disagree in that I think it should be continued, but in the sense that it should be continued to the point, it should be forced to continue to the point where we realize again the value of what good film is. Because if we keep pushing like formulate films into these, because it's famous, you should all watch this. I like the effect where your cinema and film friends post on social media, why didn't this win? These movies are good. These other movies are good. Then that's how I picked up on Saving Sally. I've met with some people who are really go, or who are into film, who are like film majors in San Carlos, and they said, "Oh, these films really good," and that's why okay, push it to the point.
Most
Where-
likely his classmates.
It got so saturated, push it to the extent that it dies a natural death, and it changes, it evolves on its own. Because I want people to know, like, oh, what? At least I want people to start talking. Wait, you're saying this is bad, but they say it's good. Why is it not good? Why is it not? Why is this one good? And people actually go and see. Okay, this person said it's a good film. Let's watch that. But this person said this. Okay, let's watch that. Because the point of the film festival is for people to watch film. My analogy for this is people who go to a buffet and say, "Oh, I like the ice cream for a buffet," and people just keep going for the ice cream. But other people say, "You should try this cuisine. You should try that part of the buffet." Just force people to eat, to go through the whole buffet.
Yeah,
Just
like
pushing
especially with buffets that have a lot of cuisines. Like Buffet 101.
Yeah.
Buffet 101.
Hey!
Baka naman.
Hey, Buffet 101, if you're watching, you can sponsor us. Our DMs are open, so anyone who's out there wants to DM us, please DM us. Where we have a Facebook, Instagram, we do it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
I'm pretty sure
I can't
we
believe
do. So please DM us, Buffet 101, or any buffet, some new places, Only Wings. God,
Siege,
love
I don't
food.
think we should be sponsored by them. Look at us.
Exactly why we should be sponsored by them. Look
Okay,
at us.
okay. Box. Let's go back. Siege.
Okay, so I think people need to realize what the Metro Manila Film Fest is for. Right now, they've fallen into a popularity contest. So the point of the film fest is to, or that I know of, again, if I'm wrong, please do tell me, but
In the comments.
in the comments.
Bash
Growing
him in the
up-
comments, guys.
Yeah, I don't mind. Bash me in the comments. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But growing up, I was told the point of the Metro Manila Film Fest is for people to showcase their art, the way they shoot films, and the way and to it fosters that passion that anybody can be a filmmaker. We have a teacher who who joined Metro Manila Film Fest. He was an actor there. I know you know who I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So, and I've had friends who are related to people who are support crews. I think that the Metro Manila Film Fest has been changed. It turned into cloud chasing. I think we need to go back to what it was.
Do you know why that is?
The problem is right now I have a story to tell, but the story changes and morphs into something that people want to see. And it destroys the whole meaning of the Metro Manila Film Fest because we're saying like, oh, we want to show you what our stories are to, hey, what's popular? Let's make a story about that.
Do you know why?
Because for popularity.
No, it's because, especially Filipino films,
Yeah.
they're not profitable.
Exactly. There's very few people left doing things for actual passion. Because
I do understand the part where if I was a filmmaker and I need funds, I need to
Yeah.
show my investors that hey, I can make money.
yes,
And the issue is I can't because there's a lot of good Hollywood movies there.
yeah,
And then that's why they put like a dedicated time. I don't know when in December, but I believe it's somewhere December to January, right? And then they put a dedicated time there just for us to show. In the end, it forces to push all the other movies.
Hmm.
But my issue is the movies are still bad.
You know what I think should happen to the Metro Manila Film Fest? Instead-
be film fest.
Well,
should just
yes,
be film
it should.
fest.
Yes, it should just be a film fest. So instead of going through the route of, hey, we're going to blockade an entire row of cinemas, an entire mall worth of cinemas to force people to watch. Why don't you do a tour like, oh, we're in Manila now, we're in Cebu now, we're in Davao, we're in Cagayan, we're in Iloilo. Go around.
Just like in Cannes.
Yeah.
Cannes Film Fest, right?
Yeah, actually get the people to tour and to have showing times. Block it off for a week.
It will be more expensive.
It would be, but it would turn into an actual fest where
But
they get to.
there still comes the issue though that it doesn't matter how good you're gonna plan the MMFF is if the movies that are being submitted there are really bad.
Exactly. But
Okay.
it goes back to the point of why it was created in the first place.
Okay. I understand totally where both of you are coming from. But I want to reposition the question and ask this. Do you think museums are interesting?
Yes.
Or lucrative?
I'm sorry.
Lucrative, no. Interesting, yes.
Interesting, yes. Look at it now.
Do you think people would pay to actually go to museums?
Not in our country, no.
No.
But
Even
would
I
say-
don't go to the museum.
Oh,
no.
but here's a quirky fun fact for you. Every time, come May, every year, during Gabi sa Kabilin, the streets are full of people who are actually paying to go into these museums. Now imagine that type of activity, like what you suggested, being conducted for films instead. When people say, no one's gonna watch it, it's the same thing. No one wants to go to museum. But how come every gabi sa Kabilin, streets are full?
That's true.
It's just a
I think it really has something to do with marketing, logistics, and all of the fashizzles that go,
shizzles.
that go with doing this type of activity. And
I think the biggest difference between a museum and a film is you have to commit a lot of time in film.
Yeah,
In museum, you go there, and then when you're done, you're done. Takes like under 30 minutes, sure. But when you
exactly.
film, you have to commit, and a lot of people
the
do not.
45
you would
minutes, 1
think
hour.
that though. But again, we're not talking about just a normal museum visit. I'm talking about the event for Gabi sa Kabilin.
So like incorporating.
And we're trying to compare film festival with something similar where a lot of people are gathered, but this time in church for museum. So Gabi sa Kabilin, look, you're gonna tell me people don't want to go to watch film festivals because they're boring and they need to commit time. But that's the same thing that people say with museum. But how come when it
I'm sorry,
comes
I'm
to
not saying that people are not going to watch in the film festival.
no. I'm saying that it's easier. You're saying rather that it's easier for people to commit to a museum because it's faster. It doesn't require much time. But I would argue and say if you really attend the Gabi sa Kabila, it's gonna take
There's so much time.
too much. You're not even able to go to all the museums because of how long. Most of the time, you're gonna be stuck in line.
And this is my big. So just because it's a film fest, right? It's not just watching the movies. You can have the movies being run simultaneously with QAs, with the actors and actresses, have a QA with the director, have interesting facts from this corner, what they want to bring, what they want to
Make it
show
like
off.
like a Comic Con.
Like an actual
Yeah.
convention,
Yeah,
right?
actual
So
convention.
instead of turning the Metro Manila Film Fest into like, oh, we're going to judge all the films based on popularity, then submit that to a film fest, it's going to be like, we're going to celebrate these films, celebrate these actors, budding
Yeah.
actors, budding directors, writers.
Exactly. It should be a
Showcase them,
celebration
yeah.
instead of a competition.
But now it's not. And
That's the
then-
problem. Yeah. So
Let's
that's
just
my
cut
point.
it off. No, and as a Filipino, again, I already told you beforehand, I'm actually for rebranding for Metro Manila Film Festival simply because I think it's very Filipino. If we go back to why it was created, like what Siege kept saying,
when the Marcos made it.
okay, fine, okay, all right, quote unquote,
Quote,
hashtag, all right, whatever. It was actually initiated by late Manila Mayor Antonio Villegas, inspired by the vision to celebrate and promote Filipino films during the holiday season, a time when people are more likely to go there. Hence why it's usually released during December because
Okay.
there's no class.
Yeah, it's released during Marvel season.
But that's the point. And that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
We now put more premium on something that, with among other things, with something that's foreign rather than love our own. I mean,
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if they are very respectful with the films.
yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm for rebranding. So instead of focusing on the competition aspect, focus on the celebration aspect.
Exactly.
Like, what are films that us as a Filipino people can actually take pride of and be culturally grounded? Like, oh my God, that film. Imagine if they showed us a Manny Pacquiao version of Rocky.
That would be good.
I'll have to
They
watch
did sort of.
No, they didn't. They made a superhero movie.
Yeah,
for
I was
Manny
about to
Pacquiao.
say, like, this circles back to the first question. Didn't Manny become like a...
Yeah, he made,
Yeah.
he became a superhero.
Okay.
And then with the thing with Filipino is that if you become famous, regardless of what you do or how you became famous, you automatically become an actor.
Yeah, you're a celebrity, you're an actor, you're a,
Or a
Which is-
singer.
or a singer, even if you can't sing.
Which
Yeah.
is why I would say stick to what made you famous. Anyway, but yeah, rebranding it.
Are
Imagine
there different film festivals in
no,
the Philippines?
that's the point.
Really?
We don't have.
Yeah.
We seriously don't have any film
We are
festivals?
so culturally detached from our own culture that we don't celebrate these things.
I thought like Cebu had one.
No.
Or
No,
was it like just a month where people
no, it was just a one-time thing.
It's one time thing. Yeah. That's the problem. That's why and that's why when I started my premise, it's like I want it to go back to what it was for. I was one of those guys who hated it because first year college we were told to go watch movies.
It was a required thing.
It was a required thing, right? So I went
Yeah, we
there.
all went to the same school.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. So I was annoyed. Like I'm
I
going
actually
to,
enjoyed my time. I'm sorry about you.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
you
know.
love films.
I
live in a Tagalog household. I speak Tagalog.
I don't.
But my problem is, I prefer to watch things in English. I prefer to read things in English. It's just a preference. It's my thing.
and no, it's not just limited to your household. There is really a strong preference towards English.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's an education thing.
no, not even an education thing. That's a household thing.
No, I
What's
think
the
that's a
language that
culture
you're
thing.
taught with?
No.
What are kids being
No,
taught
that's a
now?
culture thing because they say when you speak good English, you're smart.
Yeah,
That's a culture
it's
thing.
culture.
yes.
It's also
So my point is, going back to my point, so we were forced to watch these films, right, in Metro Manila Film Fest. I despised it. I don't like being told what to do, what to watch, especially if I'm being told, hey, you have to write an article or an essay.
a
about
reaction
that."
paper.
A reaction, you're right.
Here's me reacting to the video.
Right? I disliked it. Then I heard my friends talk about it because they had cousins, uncles. Then I heard names that I heard of before. The teacher I was talking about, who acted in one of them, and then I started asking them why are they doing this. They love acting, they love writing, they love storyboarding. Hell, some of them like creating music for it. So watching them, listening to them talk about the reason for the Metro Manila Film Fest piqued my interest more than what the movies were about. So that's why always thought that why don't we go back to that and showcase that more than we showcase the films themselves. It's important that that's the main dish.
And again, this has been said by many critics in the past. It's really just a popularity contest
Yeah.
nowadays. There's nothing to celebrate about. I mean, there are good films, and even the good films, like what General Luna.
Yeah, okay.
What
I
did
like
that ever get any recognition?
Outside the Philippines?
No, here in the Philippines.
Not even not
No.
enough. It was like, oh yeah, it's a Filipino film, blah blah blah. They talked about it for a couple
I
of
think
days.
I think I should stay away from this opinion because I really don't care about anything that has awards. Even Oscars, I don't care about Oscars.
No, but the point is, how many awards are given to American or to Western films in comparison to how many awards are given to local films? And in lieu to that, how many festivals are dedicated to these films? I mean, Western films, and how many of these festivals are dedicated to Filipino films? And to top it all off, how many production companies do we have here?
That's true. It's very small.
It's a very small niche. So, and if you think about it,
I do have a different suggestion though.
what?
Okay, let's say we continue MMFF.
Okay.
We find a competitor. That way they have
It's not monopolized.
it's not monopolized.
Yeah.
No one can just say, yeah, we find a competitor, find another kind of film fest. My biggest issue is it's just like you said, popularity
Yeah, it
contest.
is.
Yeah, and then since it's a popularity contest, majority of the films that you want to make will be, if you want to reach there, will be in the lowest common denominator.
Yes.
So let's go Cinemalaya. Let's push for other film fests like Cinemalaya. Sure, it's like an indie film, but if you make it big enough, it's gonna be a good competitor for MMFF, and then MMFF will be forced to change.
Yeah, and they'll be forced to ramp it up.
Yeah, they'll be forced to ramp it up. They will be forced to not to actually focus good films instead of like popularity contests.
So I get that
Because
they got
the
lazy.
authority of MMFF is it's already gone. It's like, yeah, we already know everybody agrees it's just a popularity contest, but if
Okay.
their criteria just doesn't fit anymore.
I actually see where your point here is in terms of having a competitor, but you also have to consider indie filmmakers versus well-funded big production companies.
Yeah, that's a David and Goliath. If you
That's what MMFF is supposed to do. Rank their movies based on a criteria.
Yeah.
It doesn't
criteria
matter.
and categories, basically. 'cause
Yeah,
Jules is
criteria
right.
and categories, right? But it doesn't matter. We can separate in. We can put MMFF within in the separate category. But the criteria should be the priority. That's what Cinemalaya is doing. The criteria. If we put, it doesn't matter how big of a movie budget you have or small. The criteria should not include the budget. Like, oh, because it's a movie, 60 million. You should be focused on cinematography, storytelling, acting, and music.
So basically, you want the Cinemalaya criteria applied to MMFF.
Even if the MMFF criteria applied on MMFF.
The thing about criteria is that you bank it on a rubric. Now, when the rubric is not the same, you're not judging them on the same ground.
And that's fine if it's a different film fest. But my issue with MMFF is they say they have a criteria, but in the end, the award still goes to the most popular one. That's why, yeah, I agree with you. If you're not gonna cut it, we have
Or rebranded.
rebrand it. But honestly, I don't see it. I don't see
Okay.
it rebranding.
Yeah, no, I get why you don't see the rebranding because you've lost faith in something that was supposed
Yeah,
to
because
be.
the authority there is already gone. Because they have been tainted for so many years that they are unreliable on which movie to choose. How many years, consecutive years, have you thought that movie should have won but it didn't?
All the
this-
years I've watched MMFF.
See? So the purpose of MFF2, the criteria of MFF is really pointless right now. Yeah, you may say that the
Yeah, but-
purpose is still there.
No. The purpose is long gone.
See?
Yeah,
No, that's what we've been saying. We've never said the purpose is left. The purpose is long gone because it's Again, it's no
And do
longer a
you think,
celebration of
if you rebrand, let's say,
no. Okay, I think we have to unpack the word rebrand.
okay, let's say when you say rebrand, I say, oh, Jollibee is known for having cockroaches in their burger. I'm not saying Jollibee has. Let's just, you know what?
It's an
cut it off, cut it
example.
off, cut it off.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say brand X, brand X of
Detergent.
food.
Okay.
Fast food restaurant. Brand X fast food restaurant is known for a lot of what do you call this? Cockroaches in their burgers.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how much you rebrand it because the brand is still that brand. You can say brand X, we rebrand to brand Y.
It's the rebranding against the notoriety of what they're already known for.
So it's still going to be called brand X.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
you have to
meant.
completely change and remove the word MMFF.
Yeah,
That's not rebranding. That's
What do you
creating
call it?
something new.
Your version of rebranding is changing
perspective.
the perspective.
okay.
That's,
There's the disconnect. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where the disconnect lies. Rebranding typically means for a company to change not just the perspective, but
Yeah,
everything that's attached to that company. So let's say brand X had a logo of a big red X surrounded by black, green, or
What
blue
is it called?
colors.
Is it called brand X still?
Then you change it to why not change the color coding, but the company is still the same. So what happens is they're changing perspective. That's what rebranding is. Sorry, I went to business school.
Yeah, it says images, identity, and positioning in the market.
Yeah. So it still is in its core the same. It's just you slap
it's
slapping
still
a new
in its
logo.
core the same MMFF.
No, it's MMFF.
No.
You slap a logo on top
No,
of it. and you
no.
change
Okay.
it.
Shut. Okay. When they say at its core it's the same, we're talking about its main purpose
Purpose,
as to
yes.
why it was created. That's the core that they're talking about. Go back to the original reason why it was created in the first place. Stick to that. Remove all the hullabaloo that's being clouding it right now, and change it. You can even change.
I have a very sad
Hullabaloo?
analogy for this. No, I have a very sad
What?
analogy for this. McDo is still McDo, Jollibee is still Jollibee,
Yeah.
but they've rebranded it such that there's no more playpens in the restaurants.
Yeah.
It's just a fast food place now.
Yeah.
There's no more.
There used to
there's
be
no
playpens in
more
Jollibee.
playpens in Jollibee,
But it's still Jollibee.
but it's still Jollibee.
So when you're going to rebrand MMFF, it's still going to be
So
MMFF.
it's still
Yes.
going to be a film fest, but it's going to be an entirely. They're going to say different flavor, different priorities,
Because
but it's still going to be about
if you
film.
think about it,
Yes.
it's still MMFF, but you remove a certain no longer functioning aspect of it, especially in the terms of
But because of the thing that it did for so many years, even if MMFF is going to rebrand itself, a lot of people are still going to say, no,
There's
don't
nothing.
trust that.
Okay. There's nothing.
I
wrong
would
with that.
disagree.
Yeah.
Why?
There's nothing wrong with
You're
that
gonna
thing.
say a lot of people are gonna say no, but there are far more people who will still watch it.
To be able to remove the competition aspect,
Yeah.
we should shift very slightly from quantity to quality, very slightly.
Yeah.
To the extent that instead of having the same set of films being broadcasted across the entire Philippines, it should be local filmmakers for every area, and there's no competitions that is that Manila or like Ilocos has all these sets of films, but if you want
You know-
to watch a film, you go there.
You know what I hate the most about MMFF?
MM.
MMFF?
Metro Manila.
It's because it's Metro Manila only. It's
Right.
Manila centric.
Right.
So that's what I want to have. That's the
That's-
rebrand that I want to happen.
Oh,
yeah.
If it's a film festival, let it be a national film
Let's
festival.
call it Philippine Film Festival.
But the question you ask is, should it continue or be rebranded, right?
yeah. So we're saying we rebranded.
That's
So
how
there-
I
there are-
wanted to.
Can we just call it PFF?
Yeah, something like that.
No.
So it's
That's what I just
literally
said.
so this is Metro Manila Film Fest, right? You have its core, its structure, and everything is already in place, right?
Yeah.
What you do is you slap a new logo on top of it and remove everything that doesn't work. On its core, it's still celebrating what? The films. So we're still looking at the main core, the films. It's just taking away everything that was that was problematic with Metro Manila Film Fest, you take that out and slap a new logo on it to create it not from the ground up, because recreating anything from the ground up is insanely difficult.
Yes.
It will always be compared to what it
Okay, we
was
have.
before.
Okay, I get where we did get the disconnect.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the,
but-
see, there's the disconnect, right? I'm agreeing with your statement. It's just that the rebranding aspect cannot be on one side only, because you want to remove the whole thing. The structure is good.
I'm gonna be a devil's advocate, but the structure itself is not good.
What's this?
What
the-
structure?
Then you look at the core.
The core would be just a festival.
Because you know what I want to come back?
But
Local cinemas.
yeah,
Local cinemas would be good.
Local cinemas, local theaters.
I
Oh,
really
I
like
don't
your
think it
idea.
would sell.
That's the hard part.
Yeah,
I don't think it would sell.
well, okay. So a bit of a backgrounder. I did do theater. I directed a few stage plays. People actually pay to watch it.
Yeah, people pay to watch it. I'm not gonna say it's a long term.
No, in terms of long term, I mean, San Carlos is known for
Yeah.
releasing a lot of.
I watch
We went to watch Hamilton.
That's a different thing.
It's a different thing.
yeah, but I watch local plays here in Cebu, directed by people.
Lou, previous workmate, was an actor.
Yeah.
For theater.
So we have friends in Broadway, Cebu.
Our house.
Our house. There's a bunch of them now, and every time they release something, when I have free time, I watch, and I'm always blown away by how
When you have free time, everybody said, yeah, it exists. I know it's a niche. But for a big scale, will it work?
it has
It's a niche. It's a small. How many people watch with you?
a lot.
How many? I'm not saying, yeah, sure, it's a lot.
Okay, when we did shows in USC, the theater in USC can house 600 plus 300, no, 600 heads, and then we do 4 shows per day, plus the gala, so that's 5 shows. So 600 times 5, that's 3,000. You multiply that by 8 because of the whole month. 3,000 times 8, how many is that?
24.
24. 24,000 on a given month for one stage play.
They're sold
That's a
out.
lot.
They get sold out.
I think you're looking at it because from the perspective of somebody who has not experienced it.
No, I've seen some stage plays, yeah.
Yeah, but
It's not, whenever I look at it around, like, it has good outcome. I can see like a lot of people, I just don't see it profitable if you.
No, I think that's the core of the rebrand. That we have. It's hard because the sustainability aspect will
Yeah.
be gone.
Yeah.
But we have to. There has something else to happen, such that
Yeah.
if it's a film fest, local people have to come together and like
enjoy it.
enjoy it, so that it gets funded.
Yeah.
I,
Should
because
I-
I think the main problem here is how are you going to pay or to start these if you don't have funding, and if you're not a big
Okay,
enough entity.
I'm gonna plug something. My former students from Ateneo actually made a theater play. It's Leon Kelat. If you're familiar with it, they're
Yes.
the ones who produced it. So go ahead and watch it once it's available again. But it was a really good film. It got a lot of accolades and got accredited a lot. And a lot of people actually went to watch it. The people who were not even compelled to watch it went and watched. So if you're gonna tell me that it's not gonna sell, to be fair, although I'm comparing it to the West, Broadway is still alive.
Off Broadway is
It's
still
still
alive.
alive.
Broadway still alive, yes.
Yeah, that's
Right?
what I wanted to say.
So
Off
if-
Broadway.
So Broadway, like Broadway
Broadway's like
will
a
always be Broadway.
mainstream,
People are
yeah,
going to
yeah.
go there, right?
Yeah, it's
But
mainstream.
off Broadway is still alive.
Hamilton started off Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's people who create things that people don't normally watch.
Yeah.
It's there. It's
I just don't see Philippines being that artistic.
It is.
There's a lot of artistic people
Yeah,
in the Philippines,
but if we
we're just
stop-
not being funded.
yeah. But if we
that's
stop,
wait, that's the issue. Here. Because that's always been the issue with the artistic community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our economics has never been at the state
Where it's able to.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how well we plan on rebranding. It doesn't matter how well we have like these points, bullet points. We're not gonna fund. Nobody's gonna fund.
exactly. But if we stop, it dies.
Here's
That's
the
why I say put another one there that's private. Cinemalaya. Push that. Push
Yeah,
it to
you're already
everyone.
having problems with one having funds, and now you're making a competitor who will also be competing for those said
I
funds.
think we have
It's
to.
not.
I think we have to hedge it because what we're saying here is that the success and the thriving is that in the same way that's being accepted now that with a certain degree of fame.
Yeah.
What my metric for success for the artistic community is much less than that. So
Oh.
for a cinema to be, for like a film, a short film to be successful, all it has to be is to be played on a regular basis in a local cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a box office hit. It doesn't have to sell out. It
For
has
me,
to
a
be-
success would be is if it introduces something that's actually really good and it helps people understand what film is. It helps understand what the art is of the film. That's a success for me. But would it be sustainable? We have to make it sustainable, of course. So
Yeah.
that it
No.
will be ongoing for
Okay.
the next couple of years.
Okay, the level of success that you're putting it on is difficult to measure
Yeah.
simply because not everybody understands those concepts. Only people who have studied film will understand those concepts.
And that's
for
the
me,
no. That's why we put MMFF there. You put the criteria there. That's the purpose of MMFF. They have to say this is the criteria of a good film, and then we
No,
have
no,
these
no.
series of judges that will say, yeah, this one is a good film. I say this one because I have the authority because I've been watching that film, because I'm a part of the industry.
but again, the criteria you're missing the point. We're removing the competition aspect. We're
So-
going back to celebrating.
Yeah. So
Why would we need a criteria if we're celebrating?
we have to put the criteria. We have to put the criteria of what we celebrate.
Oh, so you're telling us that before, this is the before any film should be played in or included in MFF, it should go through a criteria, it should match all the criteria before it is distributed to the people.
Yes, it should.
So you don't need competition for that.
The reason I say we need competition is that MMFF will be forced to do that.
No?
But MMFF has a monopoly on everything. If because they earn money, extra money.
okay, so this is how that's going to look like. You're taking something big and already established. Something that's, as much as we dislike it, or as much as some people dislike it, it's a brand. It's a home name brand. Cinemalaya isn't as big. If you had two equal-sized companies fighting for the same thing, that would be one thing. It destroys the monopoly and it forces both to evolve beyond what they are. It's kind of like saying that you want a proven chicken versus McDonald's. That's what's going to happen. The level of indie films versus something that's funded is going to be far and wide. Now I understand what you want is the integration. That creates something new. Metro Manila Film Fest can do that with or without the competition, because you know what they're going to do? They're just going to buy out the competition.
Exactly.
A lot of big franchises here in the Philippines.
Spy out.
we don't have antitrust laws.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't.
We don't.
So for example,
We have laws for everything else.
there is a fast food joint
Yeah.
in our country that is akin to a fast food joint outside the country. I'm not gonna say which. It's up to you guys to decide which one is which. When the only rice thing popped,
Yeah.
what they did was, instead of offering it themselves, they simply bought out the competition.
Yeah.
So what happened is they still have monopoly, but they made it seem like they didn't.
Yeah. Bottom line is the money.
Yeah.
Bottom line is the money. So
That's the thing. If you don't remove the competition aspect,
Yeah.
of it, it's really just gonna be boiled down to money.
But
That's
I think
why-
the branding that he's talking about here is, instead of seeing this as like a competition, we're seeing this like, you know how for the most part, every family on a Sunday goes to church.
Yeah.
So it's something like that. Like, what do people do after going to church? They eat lunch. Some
Yeah.
people go to the mall.
Yeah.
So I think the rebranding here is, what do you do after church? After lunch, watch a movie.
Yeah.
So I think that's the rebranding. That
yeah,
we're
that's the
trying to
aspect
Or-
we want to do.
The point is the sustainability.
Yeah, that's also hard. I get that part.
It's
But we have
in a different community. It's been shown that if you build a community first,
Right.
sustainability will follow.
I will give you guys an example of a community that grew from nothing. Arcon.
Arcon?
Arcon grew from nothing.
From nothing. It was a bunch of people coming together.
Sir Mike,
It was some people
Abelio
who worked hard to create conventions.
was,
Because
by the way,
conventions
my
were
workmate
nothing.
in Ateneo.
Yeah. So it was a bunch of people just having fun together.
Yeah.
It ballooned to this massive thing that happens on an almost yearly basis, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing better to people relearning about something and realizing that there's a dark side that they can dig into. So slap the rebrand on that, teach the future generation teach the current Gen Alpha that, hey, this is what Metro Manila Film Fest is. They hit the dark side. Watch them grow that. Watch them devour that as media and create media about that.
Maybe I just like a really hateful feeling for MMFF because to me they ruin Filipino movies.
Yeah, no, based. I got it. It's like
Might
Why
as
have
well.
you been using Gen Z terms?
He's trying so hard to be Gen Z.
No, it's not that I'm trying. I talk to a lot of Gen Zs. and-
Okay.
I wonder why.
Oh no. But anyway, I'm just saying.
I talked to a lot of Gen Z. So hey, to the Siege Walker community, I know a lot of you guys are the younger generation. I'm still around, guys. So maybe one day I'll start streaming again. I'm still here. Skirt, sheesh.
Oh God. No. Even I find that cringe.
This is worse than MMFF. Okay.
Something.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
so-
And I'm
okay.
glad that we're finally able to find common ground. Yes.
I hate MMFF.
No, I
He
get
hates
that.
it.
I
I know.
get that. Yeah,
So-
I understand why.
Okay. Just to tally the points, Gail abstains. Carl clear.
Disagrees?
Marvin agreed to disagree. Siege rebrand, and that's basically.
So guys, in the comment section, go ahead and put your favorite Metro Manila Film Fest film. Something that you thought should have won. We want to know your opinion because you're listening to our opinions right now. You're listening to us.
Also, include in the comment section whether you agree about
Yeah.
rebranding or discontinuing the whole MMFF.
If you want to rebrand, I will find you.
Don't worry, I'll post his address on the.
I will find you and I will have a good conversation with you when you
and if you guys ever want to be part of the podcast, so hit us up. We'll talk to you. We'll see where this goes. Future podcast, maybe not the next one, but some future podcasts you might be here, youngsters.
Question number 1. That was a heated discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Take a breather. Take a quick breather. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all of our socials, including Marvin.
Don't ask me. Don't
All right.
That should be a shirt we wear. Don't at me.